What's up, y'all? We are here, episode 4, brought to you by my dog, who pays the bills in this home. She's actually famous and sponsored by Purina. We're gonna have to blur that out or cut that out because that's not true. My dog is useless. So today's episode, like I said, guys, sometimes we talk current basketball and sometimes we talk random. Today, we're gonna talk about Canada. 1, I love Canada. But 2, is Canada the blueprint for the NBA expansion? Or in a better way, is Canada the future of what the NBA looks like? That's what I'm really trying to say. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you guys have noticed, there's been an influx of players in the past couple years, not only playing in the NBA from Canada, but making moves. I'd say the most famous Canadian, or let's roll that back. I'd say it's fair to say the man that set it all off was probably Andrew Wiggins, but in reality, Anthony Bennett was the #1 pick. Now, there was a lot of players before him that came, guys like Rick Fox. After I did some research, I realized Rick Fox is from Canada. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Diggs, did you know that?
I did not.
I did not know that. Let's go through another notable names. Joel Anthony.
Yep, Joel Anthony.
He knew that. Let's look at a few more. How about... We'll put some music in here so you can hear. Jamal McGlure.
Yep. Or even Nick.
Nick Stauskas. Yeah. So Nick Stauskas. But I think it all started with Anthony Bennett. To me, being from out of America and being drafted as #1 is a huge deal. So I think Anthony Bennett, in my mind, was when people started to really take Canada seriously. And now you can make the argument, obviously we had the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Toronto Raptors, but those were American players playing in Canada. But I do think that is where it all started. I think it actually all started in reality with, the movement probably started with the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Toronto Raptors, right?
Yeah.
Because you had these two teams here, people were living there obviously, that's where their home base is. You had fans there, but then also for the kids going to the games. Like I have to imagine Andrew Wiggins was a Raptors fan or a Grizzlies fan, right?
Definitely.
So that was a big deal. But it's really interesting right now to see the youth coming out of Canada. And the reason we want to talk about Canada, because it could show the blueprint for other continents, countries, states. I mean, if you just think about Africa right now, so the NBA is talking about potentially expanding to Africa, not necessarily having an NBA team from Africa, but having an NBA sort of esque league in Africa. But I think Canada makes the most sense, right? Because it's easy to get to, there were teams there, and it's easier for scouts to get to Canada.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like it's been pretty cool to watch. But just to give you an idea, guys, of the talent from Canada,
it's hooping right now.
Right now. Which is crazy because when we pulled up the list, to be honest, I didn't know a lot of the names. But right now, with guys in the league, I just wanted to read you this list. And not only guys playing in the league, but getting serious numbers, right? So obviously, Shai, everyone knows
just say the big dogs that we know.
Okay, these are just the big ones that we know. Okay,
yeah.
So Shai, Jamal Murray, Andrew Wiggins, RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks, Benedict Mathurin, Andrew Nembhard. So those are the guys right now that are getting numbers.
Go ahead and put Dwight Powell in there.
Sure, we'll put Dwight Powell in there. But my point is, so that list that we named was pretty big. But then here are some of the other guys that are in the league from Canada that are either in the league but maybe just aren't getting the same kind of play. But you got guys like Tristan Thompson. You got guys like, let's see, actually, hold on. There's a few other names that I want to add to that list. Chris Duarte and Josh Primo.
I was going to say, we can talk about the young guys.
The young guys too.
Yeah.
Duarte, and what's cool is Duarte,
Benedict.
get this, Duarte and Benedict are on the same team. That's the kind of like prowess that's coming out of Canada right now. So I'm really happy to see that.
For sure.
Shaden Sharp, that's another one that we missed. But then let's talk about some of the B-list guys. You got Chris Boucher, Trey Lyles, Lou Dort, who arguably is not a B-lister. He's just not that well known. But Lou Dort.
Brandon Clark.
Tristan Thompson. I mean, it's wild. But let me ask you this. Do you think what do you think this means? You have a lot of guys coming out of Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think this means for the league? Like, what does the league do now that they're seeing the talent coming out? Because scouts are clearly going there. They're watching these guys play. So what does this mean for the NBA?
It just means that the U.S. players got to watch their back a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, as far as, because that's too much youth.
Too much youth, right?
Yeah, from Canada. And they're all pretty dominant already in their youth.
Let me ask you this. Do you think in the next 10 years it's going to be a foreigners league?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, damn. Yeah. Everybody's that I'm thinking in my head right now is pretty foreign.
Right?
Yeah, because you go Embiid, Jokic, MVP race right there, two foreigners. Luka, foreigner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be, I think the NBA is going to be a melting pot just like the U.S., of course, which it already is, but I think it's going to be definitely more foreigners to.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, we all love Team USA. But do you think Team USA is just, in the next 10 years, even 5 years, do you think they're going to be as feared as they used to be?
Not if the players that are more dominant in the NBA happen to be foreign and play for their own countries.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing that we're seeing.
Yeah, that's going to be a little different because once, say, like this tier of KD, LeBron, and all them.
Once they're gone,
it's like, who do we, the USA, have? I mean, we have
that's
some players.
We have some players,
but it's good. Canada's going to be tough. I mean,
Spain is always there.
Spain is always tough.
Spain is always tough. I mean, Australia.
Yep.
You got Patty Mills. So I think that's France.
France is going to be tough.
So I think that's what's really cool when we were doing the research for this. Like when you look at it, at first it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know Tristan Thompson, I know Anthony Bennett, a couple of those guys. I mean, Anthony Bennett, arguably the biggest bust, but Canada was obviously slowly trickling in. But once we just listed all those players, I mean, you've got future All-Stars. Not future. Shai's an All-Star. Andrew Wiggins is an All-Star.
Did Murray make it that year?
I
don't recall.
I can't recall, but I think he'll look it up. But I think Murray, and if he didn't, he should have been an All-Star. Obviously not this year, but he definitely has the All-Star mentality. And then you have some of the young guys, right? Like Benedict, he could very well be an All-Star in the future. Andrew Nembhard, same fucking team. They could be. So I think what's cool, RJ Barrett as well, he probably is maybe not playing up to his potential, but
he's never been an All-Star.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm saying, in theory, a lot of people.
They're talking about Jamal Murray hasn't yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Jamal Murray, that's even crazier.
Yeah.
So I guess what's cool about Canada is it kind of gives you like an insight into what the NBA could look like. And I think it's awesome because what I've always thought is the NBA is the best league. And it always has been.
It's been that way. But as of the last, I want to say
5 years?
I guess you could say 5 years.
Let's say 10 years. Let's say 10 years. That's 10 years feels like a lot, but let's say 10 years.
No, the last decade, it's been a shift.
It's been a shift.
And a lot of players overseas in the FIBA league are getting. Who else is? What's his name? Laurie Market is foreign. You know, like and he's
of course
killing. So it's just it's gonna be a melting pot.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the NBA comes out with. But like I said, Canada's a perfect blueprint. I think why we see so many Canadian players right now is obviously just simply the location. It's easy to get to Canada. You have a team in Canada. You've got guys like Drake who are repping hard, who's also friends with a lot of these players, but he's from Canada, goes to the Toronto, so you see a lot of American fans who are watching Toronto games, which is cool. I mean, Toronto won the NBA championship.
Yep, true.
Kawhi, you could tell it was hard for him to pick LA. I think it was. In reality, he probably should have stayed with Toronto, but
he just wanted to go home.
Let me ask you this. Do you think with Canada exploding like it is, I heard something interesting the other way. They were talking about the best cities NBA players love to go party in. And obviously you had Miami, New York, LA. But you know what someone said? Toronto.
Yep.
Do you think you're going to see more American players want to go and play in Toronto?
If the pieces fit, right? I believe so.
Yeah.
DeMar always said great things about Toronto. So Kyle Lowry always said great things about Toronto. So
yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if, like, with this Canadian explosion, if like
it's going to become a top tier destination.
Yeah, because right now the only way to get it. The biggest player to ever play in, let's say Vince. Vince was the most impactful player. They didn't willingly go there, right? They didn't willingly go there. And even Kawhi, he didn't willingly go there. It was a trade. So I'm curious if more people will start going to Toronto. And shit, if the NBA expands, let's say into Mexico, right? So the G League, you've got the Capitanes. You know about that team, bro? They have all sorts of players that used to be, top NBA prospects.
And they're killing right now in the G League.
They are doing well.
Yeah.
So I think Toronto was cool. We wanted to do an episode on Canada because it's insane when you look at NBA rosters. It almost feels like every NBA team has a Canadian player on it. And that Canadian player is probably in their starting lineup right now, which is super cool to watch. And it kind of gives you an idea of like, okay, Canada's doing it. Is Mexico next? South America? Mexico seems logical to me. And I know they're talking about having games actually in Mexico to kind of help bridge that barrier. But, it could be Mexico that's next, South America. I know Africa. I mean, Lord, we could do a whole episode on Africa. A whole episode on, you got Luol Deng, Joel Embiid. I mean, shit, the list goes on.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool. I think Canada's definitely like the blueprint. I think you're going to see a lot more scouts start to branch out a little bit more when they start to look at where players are coming from. I think.
Wait, you think Mexico's going to be?
So what they're talking about is they're talking about having games in Mexico.
True, but we're talking about players from Canada. So you're saying players from Mexico, not on their team, not on that G League team, but actual
players
Mexican
born in Mexico.
players.
Yeah, players born in Mexico.
They're far away right now.
But I'm saying if you put the infrastructure there, right? If you build a gym, or let's say you put a team there, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you put an affiliate team in there. So it's not Mexican players, but it's players playing in Mexico. Let's say it's in Mexico City.
Yeah.
It's the same. My thought process. It's the same thing. You get these kids who are now watching.
Also, in a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple years.
I got you.
But I have to believe that there's definitely Mexican-born players in the NBA. Not a lot.
Yeah.
But I think like Canada's a perfect blueprint. If you put a team there,
I would say
if you build it, they'll come.
If Canada's the tier right now, then it's got to be Africa or Spain or something like that.
To me, Africa makes the most sense. Like if you look at Masai, with Toronto, Masai's done a great job with his program in Africa. I mean, Africa's no secret, but it's also quite hard. It's really hard.
Less resources for them.
Less resources, and even getting these players to leave their families for long periods of time, it's hard.
Yeah.
So that's super interesting. But yeah, we wanted to do this episode on Canada. I think it's cool. I think the next 10 years in the NBA are going to be more exciting than ever. I think right now it's just amazing to watch. Like I was a little worried, to be frank. I was a huge LeBron fan. And so, like, I'm still worried when LeBron retires. Like, I want to see playoff Bron. Playoff Bron is the most electric basketball that I've ever seen. So, we've only got a few more years of that. But I was definitely a little worried when he retired. Like, would I still want to watch the NBA? Do I care? But now, I feel like the next generation is here, and they're hooping.
Yeah, there's some hoopers in there. It's just going to be hard to decipher the ones who actually care and want to hoop like LeBron and like the killers who came along before, or are they just here for the lifestyle?
That's a good point, too.
We should do an episode on that. Because
what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments if we should do an episode on that. I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this, but should the next episode, I think we want to do an episode on, does the next generation of NBA players care more about basketball, or do they care more about the lifestyle?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Yeah. I think so. Because, to be fair, I was watching something this morning, and they were walking through the process of Jalen Green, right?
I was about to say, he's my main.
He can score buckets, but when it comes to playing basketball, I think he has a poor IQ.
Exactly.
Which is funny, because I'm like a 5'7" brown dude talking about Jalen Green. Yeah. Okay, I'm not an analyst.
You can have a package all day.
Yeah.
But if the game is on the line and you don't know the game to know what to do at the moment,
what to run, who to look for, how the
defense is going to react to you doing your package. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that whole team of it, we could just. I don't even want to talk about that, but they got to work on some shit.
Yeah, I can't tell too, because the Rockets don't have any veteran leadership. So So we're gonna segue here to end the episode. And Diggs doesn't know this. We're gonna have a little quiz. Not a quiz. We're gonna have a question. I want you to give me your all NBA first team. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a twist. It's not going to be your forwards, your centers, your guards. It's going to be 5 players. You just got to give me 5 players.
Who I think is going to be in.
If you had to do an all NBA first team this year.
We should do it by position, man.
You want to do it by position?
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost fun if you don't have to restrict yourself.
Damn. I need to look up a list. I can't think. I could.
Let me know in the comments too. How about you in the? Okay. You want to do by position?
Let's just go through who. All right, so I know Jokic and Embiid are on there already for me.
I agree with that. My Jokic and Embiid are on there for me as well.
So when it starts getting to the guards and shit,
yeah,
that's when it gets a little hefty.
So let's not place. Okay, how about this? 2 forwards, 3 guards.
2 forwards, 3 guards.
Yeah, I think that's easy.
Well, I said my 2.
So I agree. I'm with Jokic and Embiid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Tatum in there. Tatum's my 3rd.
All first team.
Yeah, first team. I have Tatum as first team. So that's 3 on me. I'm gonna wait till you get it.
See, I can't think. Let me look up the.
It's tough. I'm just gonna say my other one if you want to look it up.
Yeah, go ahead. No, say yours.
I think it's Shai. I
know that sounds crazy. Shai's been killing, bro.
I think a lot of people discredit Shai, and they don't think he should be. He's gonna make an All NBA team. There's no doubt. But I think with Shai, he's still on OKC, and a lot of people want to see his stats or empty stats. Mm-hmm. But man, you don't average high 20s and call them empty stats. I'm sorry.
That is true.
He can get a bucket on anyone. His package is complete. He's just going to get better. And OKC they're set for the next 10 years. They've got so many players. They've almost got too much talent on their team that they're going to have to let people go. You know, you're talking about Chet, you're talking about Giddey, you're talking about Shai, you got Lou Dort, you've got a whole bevy of picks. So OKC is going to be scary. I would hope that they would win a championship in the next 10 years. So I put Shai on there and Tatum, Jokic and Embiid. Those are my
finish
4.
off here. Go ahead and finish the last one.
I want to say this guy, but I want to say it. But I want to say it. I want to put Ja on there, man. I want to put Ja. I just feel like he took an astronomical leap this year.
I feel like would be my point guard for sure.
I just feel like he took an astronomical leap this year, and Memphis was booing for the first place. Like, they were fighting for the first place all year. Last year, people thought it was kind of a fluke, and then they came back and ran it back. And look, you've got Dylan Brooks, you've got Desmond Bane, you've got Jaren Jackson, who's playing out of his mind. Mm-hmm. I could do a whole episode on the evolution of Jaren Jackson Jr., but at the end of the day, it's Ja. If you don't have Ja, you're not winning the championship. So I feel like it would be silly to ignore that. So for me, I'm going Ja, SGA, Tatum, Jokic, and Embiid. That's my team right there. That's my All NBA first team.
So you got Giannis on second.
I got Giannis on second team because of the way we set it up, right? Yeah. 2 forwards, 3 guards.
Yeah, all the people I want to pick have been injured for a little bit, so I don't think they can make first team. But I don't disagree with any of yours.
What's one? I feel like your question. I feel like
Tatum is the only one, yeah. But that might be some little thing I got with Tatum myself, where I feel.
Let me ask you this: would you put Brown over Tatum?
Yeah, right now, hell yeah. If I had to pick a team, I'm picking Brown. It's funny. He shows me a little more.
It's funny because I actually am a Brown fan. Like, I personally like Brown more, and I do think consistently, on a consistency basis, he's better than Tatum. But I still feel like Tatum's ceiling might be higher. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with
I think, like, from a consistency, Brown is going to give you 22 a game at least. Tatum can have nights where he's like 12 points, but he also has those nights where he can will you to win. You know?
I still would take Brown over.
Okay.
We should have a time.
I know it's a weird thing because then it's like,
because he's more consistent.
Brown, I know, but then it's weird because then it's like that. It's confusing
because he can also go off for 40.
Yeah.
In a night too.
Well, I'll give you a good example, right? The Rockets game when they lost to the Rockets, right? Brown put up 46.
Yeah.
And I feel like he didn't will them to win.
He tried his hardest. Tatum was one who fucked up at the end.
I know, but I feel like Tatum can somehow will.
He's still the first, but he's still the first option, so he's got to play better.
I know, it's weird. That's weird. Why. The Tatum Brown thing will forever be perplexing to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year they have to win it. If they don't win it this year, you might as well trade Brown. There's definitely like I have the same claim that he's unhappy. He's made a few comments about Boston where it's just like,
yeah, I think something's gonna happen this offseason.
I think he was saying like some Boston fans are like super toxic.
That's what, I think that he's just trying to find a way out right now.
Find a home.
Yeah, which is gonna be tight.
I mean, honestly, I could see him being. I feel like him and Kyrie would be like perfect teammates.
Yeah,
I feel like they have that connection. You know,
Kyrie's gonna stay
like bigger than
Dallas.
basketball sort of thing. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about this? Just to give the fans some more content, just slide out Tatum for someone. First team.
I was gonna say Giannis.
Okay, Giannis.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us know what you think in the comments, guys. What's your first team All NBA?
Yes, sir.
First team All NBA, and I think our next episode we're gonna do the future of the NBA, the future stars of the NBA, and what the NBA looks like. Or is it just going to become an offensive? Is it just going to turn into like a shitty all-star game? Because I do worry about that sometimes. Like I feel like basketball IQ is
the future of the league, or like basketball in general. Yeah.
Well, playing great talent does it just is like, do they want to play basketball? You know, it's like, or do they want to play defense really? Because I feel like defense is one of those things that people just don't care about anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were kind of talking about that with JJ and Tim. They're kind of talking about how defense
Yeah,
is.
they did talk about that. Yeah. Okay.
So, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Leave any comments. Let us know. First team, did you enjoy the episode? Say hello. We'll say hello back. Here are a couple notes. We've got some merch coming out pretty soon, so we're excited to drop that. Website coming soon. Yeah, I mean, it's been good, guys. We enjoy it. Keep watching. We're going to keep pumping out episodes for you. And we're out.
Peace.